What do you really want from me? Daniel's hands froze on the circuit breaker. The CEO stood 3 feet behind him in the darkness, her voice barely a whisper, but the weight of those words hit like a confession she'd been holding back for weeks. He turned slowly. Alina Cross wasn't looking at the broken chandelier anymore. She was looking at him, really looking. Her perfect composure cracked just enough to show something raw underneath. Because I don't think either of us is here to fix a light. Before we begin, please subscribe to our channel and stay until the end of this story. Comment below what city you're watching from. I want to see how far this story travels. Daniel Reese's phone buzzed at 11:47 p.m. on a Tuesday. He was already in bed, one arm draped over the side where his daughter Lily sometimes crawled in after nightmares. The number was unknown. "This is Daniel." "Mr. Reese?" The voice was female, clipped professional. "I apologize for the late call. My name is Alina Cross. I need an electrician immediately. Are you available?" Daniel sat up, rubbing his face. "It's almost midnight, ma'am. I understand. I'll pay triple your rate. My home security system is down, and I have a lighting failure in multiple rooms. I live alone." The last part wasn't said for sympathy. It was stated as fact, but Daniel heard something else underneath it, something that made him reach for his jeans. "Text me the address." 20 minutes later, he pulled up to gates that belonged in a magazine, not a residential neighborhood. The house beyond them was massive, all glass, and sharp angles lit from within like an aquarium. The gates opened before he could press the intercom. The driveway curved through landscaping so precise it looked artificial. Daniel parked his truck, beat up paint peeling embarrassingly out of place, and grabbed his toolbox. Before he reached the door, it opened. Alina Cross was not what he expected. She stood in the doorway wearing black pants and a white blouse, no shoes, her dark hair pulled back in a way that was coming undone. She was younger than her voice suggested, maybe late 30s, but her face carried the kind of tiredness that had nothing to do with sleep. "Mr. Reese, thank you for coming." She stepped aside. "The main issue is in the foyer chandelier, but several rooms are experiencing power surges." Daniel walked in. The foyer was 2 stories high, white marble floors reflecting a chandelier that currently flickered like a dying heartbeat. The house felt cold despite the heating. Not temperature cold, empty cold. "When did this start?" 3 hours ago. I was working in my office when everything went dark for approximately 30 seconds. When the power returned, it's been unstable." Daniel set down his toolbox. "You call the power company?" "Yes. They said the issue is internal, something about the circuit load." He looked up at the chandelier. "I'll need to check your breaker box first." "Where is it?" "Basement. Follow me." She led him through rooms that felt more like showrooms than living spaces. Everything was white or gray or black. Nothing was out of place. No photographs. No clutter. No signs that anyone actually lived here. The basement was different. It was unfinished concrete and exposed beams, the breaker box mounted on the far wall next to what looked like an art studio. Daniel noticed the paint-stained drop cloths first, then the canvases leaning against the walls, most of them turned backward. "You paint?" he asked, opening the breaker box. Alina stood near the stairs, arms crossed. "Sometimes." "These all yours?" He gestured at the canvases while checking the circuits. "Yes." "Can I see one?" "No." He glanced at her. She wasn't being rude. She was being honest in a way that felt like she'd surprised herself. Daniel turned back to the breaker box. "You've got 3 circuits overloaded. When did you add new appliances?" "I didn't." "You sure? Because this kind of draw doesn't just happen. Something's pulling more power than your system was designed for." Alina stepped closer. "I haven't changed anything in this house in 2 years." Then something changed itself. He flipped off the overloaded circuits. "I need to trace these lines, figure out what's pulling the load. Might take a few hours." "That's fine." "At triple rate." "I don't care about the money, Mr. Reese. I care about the lights staying on." There was something in the way she said it that made Daniel pause. He turned to look at her fully. She was standing in the harsh fluorescent light of the basement, her arms still crossed, but her hands were gripping her elbows too tight. "You okay, Ms. Cross?" "Alina." "And yes." "You don't look okay." "I didn't hire you to assess my well-being." "Fair enough." He grabbed his voltage tester. "But if you're scared, you can say so. How's this big power going out that's legitimately unsettling?" She stared at him for a long moment. "I'm not scared of the dark, Mr. Reese." "Daniel." "Daniel." She said his name like she was testing it. "I'm scared of what happens when the lights come back on." He didn't know what to say to that, so he said nothing. He started tracing the circuits, working his way through the basement, while Alina sat on the bottom step, watching him in silence. After 20 minutes, Daniel found the problem. "You've got a space heater running somewhere, industrial size by the load it's pulling." "I don't have a space heater." "Well, something's running." He followed the circuit up through the ceiling. "This line feeds to the second floor, east wing." Alina stood. "That's impossible. Those rooms are closed." "Closed or locked?" "Both." They went upstairs. The east wing was behind a door Daniel hadn't noticed before, painted the same white as the walls. Alina pulled a key from her pocket. "These were my husband's rooms," she said quietly. "I haven't opened them in 18 months. She unlocked the door. The air that came out was stale and cold. Daniel stepped in first, flipping the light switch. Nothing happened. "This circuit's dead," he said, "but something's still drawing power." He used his flashlight. The room was an office, everything covered in dust. But in the corner, plugged into the wall, was a small ceramic heater. It wasn't running, but the outlet showed signs of recent use, slight burn marks around the prongs. "You recognize this?" Daniel asked. Alina stepped closer, staring at the heater. "No." "Someone's been in here." "That's not possible. I'm the only one with a key." Daniel checked the windows, all locked from the inside. He looked back at Alina. She was pale now, her hand on her throat. "Ms. Cross, Alina, is there something you're not telling me?" "My husband died here," she said. "In this office, heart attack at his desk. I found him in the morning." "I'm sorry." "Don't be. We were already divorced. He just never moved out." She looked around the room like it was the first time she'd seen it. "He liked it cold. Always ran space heaters in the winter. I couldn't stand it." Daniel unplugged the heater. "This thing's been running recently, within the last few days. Feel it." She didn't move. He brought it to her. "Feel it." She touched the ceramic. "It's warm." "Which means someone's been here." "I live alone, Daniel. The security system logs every entry. No one has been here except me and the housekeepers, and they don't have access to these rooms." "Then you plugged this in." "I didn't." They stared at each other. Daniel saw fear in her eyes now, real and unfiltered. "Okay," he said calmly. "Let's check your security footage." They went back downstairs to her office, another sterile room, all glass desk and ergonomic chair. Alina pulled up the security system on her computer. Daniel stood behind her watching the screen. The footage showed nothing. No one entering the east wing. No one even approaching that hallway except Alina herself, walking past it twice a day, like clockwork. "Go back 3 days," Daniel said. She scrolled. Still nothing. "A week." Nothing. "You sleepwalk?" he asked. "No." "You sure?" Alina closed the laptop. "I think you should finish the electrical work and leave." "Hey." Daniel kept his voice gentle. "I'm not trying to scare you. I'm trying to help." "You can't help with this." "With what?" She stood, putting distance between them. "Do you like your work, Daniel?" The question threw him. "What?" "Your work. Being an electrician. Do you enjoy it?" Yeah, I guess. It pays the bills." "That's not what I asked." Daniel set down his flashlight. "Why are you asking me this?" "Because I'm trying to understand something." She turned to face him. "You show up at midnight because a stranger offers you more money. You have a daughter. I saw the car seat in your truck, but you left her to come here. So I'm asking, do you actually like your work, or are you just surviving?" The words hit harder than they should have. Daniel felt something shift in his chest, something he'd kept buried under years of routine and responsibility. "I'm surviving," he admitted. "That's what I do. That's what single dads do." "And is that enough for you?" "It has to be." Alina nodded slowly. "I understand that. More than you know." They stood in silence. Outside, wind rattled the windows. The house settled with creaks that sounded too deliberate. "I'll fix your circuits," Daniel said finally. "But you should consider calling someone else to figure out what's going on with those rooms. This is beyond electrical work." "There's nothing to figure out. I'm tired. I'm imagining things." "You're not imagining burn marks on an outlet." "Then maybe I did plug it in. Maybe I don't remember." "Alina, finish the work, Daniel, please." He wanted to argue, but the look on her face stopped him. It wasn't fear anymore. It was resignation, the look of someone who'd decided that denial was easier than truth. Daniel spent the next 2 hours rewiring the overloaded circuits and installing surge protectors. Alina stayed in her office door closed. He could hear her on the phone, her voice low and controlled, discussing numbers and projections like it wasn't 1 in the morning. When he finished, he knocked on her office door. She opened it, immediately, checkbook already in hand. "How much?" "$600. That includes the emergency rate and materials." She wrote the check for $2,000. "That's too much." "It's fair." She handed it to him. "You came when I called. That's worth something." Daniel folded the check, slipping it into his pocket. "You going to be okay here?" "I'm always okay here." "That's not what I asked." She almost smiled. "Almost." "Good night, Daniel." He left. As he drove away, he looked back at the house in his rearview mirror. Every light was on now, blazing against the darkness. It looked less like a home and more like a warning. His phone buzzed before he reached the main road. Text from the same unknown number. "I need you to come back tomorrow. Different issue, same rate." Daniel stared at the text. He should say no. He should refer her to another electrician and forget about the strange house and the woman who lived there like a ghost. But he texted back, "What time noon, if that works for your daughter?" He stopped the truck. She'd seen the car seat. Of course she had. But mentioning Lily felt like something else, like acknowledgement that he existed beyond the work, that he was human, that he mattered. "Noon works," he typed. "Thank you," she replied. He drove home. Lily was asleep, sprawled across his bed the way she always did when he worked late nights. Her babysitter, Mrs. Chen from next door, was asleep on the couch. Daniel paid her, helped her home, then climbed into bed next to his daughter. Lily rolled over, blinking awake. "Daddy." "Hey, baby. Go back to sleep." "Where were you?" "Working, fixing lights for someone." "Did you fix them?" "Some of them." She curled against his chest. "You smell like paint." He did. He'd noticed it when he left the basement, that turpentine smell that clung to canvas and creativity. He thought about the paintings turned backward, hiding from view. "Daddy," Lily mumbled, half asleep. "Yeah. Do you like fixing lights?" The question echoed in his head. "Do you like your work?" "I like taking care of you," he said. "That's not the same thing." She was 6 years old and already too perceptive. Daniel kissed the top of her head. "Go to sleep, Lily." But he stayed awake, staring at the ceiling, thinking about Alina Cross and her empty house, and the question she'd asked him. "Do you like your work?" No one had asked him that in years. No one had cared enough to wonder if he was more than just a pair of hands that fixed things. The next day, he dropped Lily at school and arrived at Alina's house at 11:55. The gates opened automatically. She was waiting at the door, dressed differently this time, jeans and a sweater, her hair down. She looked softer, younger, more real. "Thank you for coming back," she said. "What's the issue?" "The studio lights. In the basement. They're flickering." He followed her down. The basement looked the same, but the canvases had been moved. Some of them were facing out now. Daniel saw abstract shapes in dark colors, slashes of red and black that felt violent and beautiful at once. You turned them around, he said. I did. Alina stood in the middle of the studio, arms crossed. I haven't looked at them in months. I thought maybe it was time. They're good. They're honest. She gestured at the lights. These have been flickering all morning. I can't work like this. Daniel checked the fixtures. Nothing wrong with the wiring. You changed the bulbs recently. No. That's your problem. These bulbs are dying. Just need replacements. I have some, upstairs. She left. Daniel stood alone in the studio looking at the paintings. They told a story he didn't fully understand. Rage and loss, and something desperate trying to break through. He touched the edge of one canvas, felt the texture of dried paint, the physicality of emotion made visible. I paint when I can't sleep, Alina said behind him. He turned. She was holding a box of light bulbs, watching him with an expression he couldn't read. How often is that, he asked. Every night. That's a lot of paintings. That's a lot of not sleeping. She set down the box. I haven't shown these to anyone. My ex-husband hated them, said they were too dark, too angry. He wanted me to paint landscapes, pretty things that matched the house. What do you want to paint? The truth. Daniel started replacing the bulbs. What's the truth? That I built this life because I thought it would make me happy. The company, the house, the perfect image. But it's just a cage with expensive furniture. He climbed down from the ladder. Then leave. It's not that simple. Why not? Because I don't know who I am without it. She sat on the drop cloth surrounded by her paintings. I'm 41 years old. I've been someone's daughter, someone's wife, someone's CEO. I've never just been Alina. Daniel sat across from her. I get that. I've been Lily's dad for so long I forget I used to be other things. What things? I don't know anymore. A guy who liked music, who stayed up late reading, who thought about more than bills and bedtimes. Do you miss that person? I didn't think I did. But yeah, I do. Alina looked at him. Really looked the way she had last night when she asked what he really wanted. You're not what I expected. What did you expect? Someone who'd fix the lights and leave. Someone who wouldn't ask questions. Sorry to disappoint. You didn't. She stood brushing paint dust from her jeans. I need to show you something. She led him to the far corner of the studio where a canvas sat on an easel covered with a sheet. She pulled off the sheet. The painting was different from the others. It was a portrait, a man's face, but distorted features melting into darkness. The eyes were the only thing in focus, and they were filled with rage. My husband, she said quietly. I painted this 2 weeks after he died. It's terrifying. He was terrifying. Not physically. He never hit me, but he broke me in other ways, made me small, made me doubt everything I felt. Daniel stared at the painting. Why keep it? To remember, to remind myself that I survived him. She covered it again. The night he died, I was relieved. Then I was terrified of that relief. What kind of person feels that way? The kind who was suffocating. She turned to him. How do you know that? Because I see it every time you talk about this house. You're still suffocating. The words hung between them. Alina's breath caught. For a moment Daniel thought she might cry, but she didn't. She just nodded. I need you to do something for me, she said. What? Come back tomorrow, and the day after that. I have work, actual electrical work in other properties. But really I just need someone to see me. Really see me. Do you understand? Daniel understood more than she knew. He was being seen too, maybe for the first time in years. I'll come back, he said. She smiled, then a real smile, small but genuine. Thank you. He replaced the light bulbs, tested the fixtures, and gathered his tools. As he was leaving, Alina called after him. Daniel. Yeah. Your daughter. Lily. Does she know you're unhappy? The question stopped him cold. I'm not unhappy. Yes, you are. I can see it. The same way you can see it in me. He wanted to deny it. But standing in that basement surrounded by paintings that screamed the truth, Alina couldn't speak. He couldn't lie. "She's 6, he said. "She shouldn't have to worry about me." "She already does. Kids always know." Daniel left without responding. He picked up Lily from school, took her for ice cream, listened to her talk about her day. And when she asked, "Are you okay, Daddy?" he said yes, even though they both knew it wasn't true. That night, lying in bed after Lily fell asleep, he thought about Alina's question. "Do you like your work?" The answer was no. He didn't like it. He didn't hate it either. It was just existence, survival, the thing he did to keep moving. But what if he wanted more than survival? What if he wanted to actually live? His phone buzzed. "Alina, 8 a.m. tomorrow. I have a property in Riverside that needs an electrical inspection. Bring Lily if you need to. There's a park nearby." Daniel stared at the text. This wasn't about electrical work anymore. They both knew it. This was about two people who'd spent years hiding from themselves, suddenly seeing each other clearly. He typed, "See you at 8. And for the first time in years, he felt something other than tired. He felt awake. The Riverside property was a mid-century duplex that needed rewiring before it could be listed. Daniel arrived at 7:58, with Lily in the back seat, clutching her stuffed rabbit and asking questions about where they were going. "To work, baby." "But I came with you." "Yeah, you did." "Why?" "Because a woman I barely know invited you, and I said yes without thinking. Because something about her makes me feel less alone." "Because I wanted your company," Daniel said instead. Alina was already there, leaning against a black sedan wearing sunglasses, despite the overcast morning. She straightened when she saw them, and Daniel noticed the slight hesitation before she walked over. "You must be Lily," Alina said, crouching down to eye level. Lily hid behind Daniel's leg. "Who are you?" "I'm Alina. I hired your dad to fix some things for me." "Are you rich?" "Lily," Daniel warned. But Alina laughed. "Yes, I am. Does that bother you?" Lily considered this. "My teacher says rich people should share more." "Your teacher is very smart." Alina stood. "There's a park 3 blocks down. Has a good playground. I thought maybe after your dad looks at the wiring we could go, if that's okay." Lily looked up at Daniel. "Can we?" He should say no. This was blurring lines that should stay clear. But Alina was looking at him with something that resembled hope, and he realized she was as lonely as he was. "Yeah, we can do that." The duplex was a mess. The previous tenant had tried DIY electrical work that violated every code Daniel could think of. He spent 3 hours tracing wires, labeling circuits, making lists of what needed replacing. Alina stayed with them, sitting on the floor with Lily drawing pictures on the back of inspection reports. "Your dad's really good at this," Alina said, watching Daniel work. "He's good at everything," Lily said matter-of-factly. "Is he?" "Yeah, he makes pancakes shaped like Mickey Mouse, and he knows all the words to Frozen. And when I'm scared, he stays with me until I'm not scared anymore." Daniel felt his chest tighten. He didn't look at Alina, but he felt her watching him. "He sounds like a good dad," Alina said quietly. "The best dad." Lily held up her drawing. "Look, I made you." Alina took the paper. It was a stick figure with wild hair and a crooked smile. "That's me. Yeah, you have sad eyes, like my dad." The room went quiet. Daniel stopped working. Alina stared at the drawing, her hand trembling slightly. "Lily, honey, why don't you go wash your hands?" Daniel said gently. "They're not dirty." "Go wash them anyway." She huffed, but obeyed, disappearing down the hall. Daniel climbed down from the ladder. "I'm sorry. She says things." "She's honest." Alina set down the drawing. "Kids see what adults pretend isn't there." "Yeah." "Do I really have sad eyes?" Daniel looked at her. Without the sunglasses, without the corporate armor, she looked vulnerable in a way that made his heart ache. "Yeah, you do. So do you." They stood 3 feet apart in a run-down duplex that smelled like mildew and old carpet, and Daniel felt something shift between them. It wasn't attraction or not just attraction. It was recognition. Two people who'd been invisible for so long suddenly being seen. Lily came running back. "Can we go to the park now?" "Let me finish this circuit," Daniel said. "That'll take forever." 20 minutes. "That is forever." Alina smiled. "I'll wait with you. We can draw more pictures." But Lily was restless, bouncing on her toes. "Can I go outside?" "Stay where I can see you," Daniel said. She ran out to the small yard. Through the window, Daniel watched her chase butterflies that didn't exist and conduct elaborate conversations with her rabbit. "She's amazing," Alina said. "She is." Her mother, gone, since Lily was 2. Daniel returned to the wiring. One day she was there, the next she wasn't. Left a note saying she couldn't do it anymore. Motherhood, marriage, any of it. That must have been devastating. It was clarifying. I realized I was either going to fall apart or step up. There wasn't a middle option. You chose well. I chose survival. That's different than choosing well. Alina moved closer. Why do you keep saying that survival like it's something shameful, Lay? Because it is. Daniel's hands stilled on the wire cutters. You asked me if I like my work. The truth is, I don't think about liking or not liking anything anymore. I think about what needs to be done. Bills, groceries, school pickups, bedtime. It's just a list I complete every day. And then what? Then I wake up and do it again. That's not living, Daniel. That's dying slowly. He turned to face her. What do you want me to say? That I'm miserable, that I lie awake at night wondering what happened to the person I used to be. Yes. Why? What difference does it make? Because pretending you're fine is killing you the same way it's killing me. The words hung between them, sharp and true. Daniel felt something crack open in his chest, something he'd kept sealed for years. I'm tired, he said quietly. I'm so fucking tired. And I can't say that to anyone because I'm supposed to be grateful. I have a daughter, a job, a roof. I'm supposed to be enough for her, and I'm terrified that I'm not. You are enough. You don't know that. Yes, I do. Because she looks at you like you hung the moon. Daniel's throat tightened. Then why do I feel like I'm failing her every day? Because you're human. Because being a good parent doesn't mean being perfect. It means showing up even when you're exhausted. Is that what you tell yourself? Alina flinched. I don't have kids. But you show up anyway, to a life you hate, to a house that feels like a mausoleum. Why? Because it's what I built. Because walking away means admitting I wasted 20 years building the wrong thing. That's not a reason to stay. Then what is? Daniel stepped closer. There isn't one. That's the point. They were inches apart now. He could see the gold flecks in her eyes, the small scar on her chin, the way her breath caught when he didn't look away. Daddy! Lily's scream shattered the moment. Daniel ran outside. She was on the ground holding her knee, tears streaming down her face. I fell. There's blood. It was a scraped knee minor, but scary looking. Daniel scooped her up, carrying her inside. Alina was already grabbing paper towels, wetting them at the sink. Let me see, sweetheart, she said gently. Lily extended her leg. Alina cleaned the wound with careful hands, her voice soothing as she distracted Lily with questions about school and favorite colors and what she wanted to be when she grew up. A vet, Lily sniffled. Or maybe an astronaut. I can't decide. You don't have to decide yet. You have time. My dad says I can be anything. He's right. Daniel watched Alina with his daughter, and something in his chest loosened. This wasn't a CEO anymore. This was a woman who knew how to care for a scared child who didn't flinch at tears or blood or need. All better, Alina announced, securing a Band-Aid covered in cartoon stars. Lily hugged her. Thank you. Alina's arms came up slowly, awkwardly, like she'd forgotten how to hold another person. But then she relaxed, holding Lily close, and when she looked at Daniel over his daughter's head, her eyes were wet. They went to the park. Lily ran ahead, claiming the swings, demanding Daniel push her higher. Alina sat on a bench watching them with an expression that broke Daniel's heart. "You okay?" he asked during a break. "I'm wondering what my life would have been like if I'd had this. This. Simplicity. A child. A park. Small moments instead of board meetings and profit margins." "You still could." "I'm 41, Daniel. That ship sailed." 41 isn't dead. It's too late for kids. Maybe, but it's not too late for the rest of it. Lily called for him. Daniel pushed her higher, listening to her laugh, pure and unself-conscious. When he looked back, Alina was wiping her eyes. After an hour, Lily started dragging. Daniel carried her back to the truck while Alina walked beside them. "Thank you for today," Alina said. "I'm sending you a bill." "I know, but thank you anyway." Daniel secured Lily in her car seat. She was already half asleep. "Can we see Alina again?" she mumbled. "Maybe. I like her. She's sad like us, but nice sad." Daniel closed the door gently. He turned to Alina. "Nice sad. Kids and their brutal honesty." But Alina was smiling. "She's right, though. I am sad. But today was less sad than most days." "Why?" "Because I wasn't alone." Daniel wanted to say something profound, something that would make sense of what was happening between them. But Lily was waiting, and Alina looked fragile, and he was terrified of saying the wrong thing. "I have another property," Alina said quickly. "Next week. It's a bigger job. Might take a few days." "Okay. Okay. Yeah, text me the details." She nodded. "Daniel." "Yeah. Today mattered. I need you to know that." He drove away, feeling like he'd left part of himself standing on that sidewalk. Lily woke up as they pulled into their driveway. "Daddy." "What baby? Are you and Alina friends?" "I think so." "Good. You need more friends." That night, after Lily was asleep, Daniel sat on his porch with a beer he didn't drink. His phone buzzed. "Alina. I keep thinking about what you said. About survival versus living." Daniel. "Yeah. Alina. I don't want to just survive anymore." Daniel. "What do you want?" The typing indicator appeared and disappeared 3 times. Finally, "I don't know. But I think you're part of figuring that out." He stared at the message. This was crossing a line. They both knew it. Client and contractor wasn't supposed to become whatever this was becoming. Daniel. "This is complicated." Alina. "I know." Daniel. "I have a daughter. I can't do complicated." Alina. "Then tell me to stop. Tell me to find another electrician." He should. He should absolutely tell her that. Instead he typed, "When's the next job, Alina? Tuesday. 9 a.m. Bring Lily if you need to." Daniel. "I'll be there." Alina. "Thank you." He set down his phone. From inside the house he heard Lily call for him. A nightmare, probably. He went to her, lay beside her, held her while she described the monster under her bed. "There's no monster, baby." "How do you know?" "Because I'm here, and I won't let anything hurt you." She believed him. Kids always believed their parents even when the parents didn't believe themselves. Tuesday came faster than expected. The property was a commercial building downtown that needed a complete electrical overhaul. Daniel arranged for Lily to stay with Mrs. Chen, then immediately regretted it when he arrived and found Alina waiting with coffee and pastries. "You didn't have to do this," he said. "I wanted to." She handed him a cup. "Black right, I guessed." "You guessed right." They went inside. The building was empty, echoing, stripped down to bare walls. Daniel surveyed the work. This was a week-long job, minimum, maybe 2. "This is extensive," he said. "I know. That's why I asked you." "Alina, this is a full renovation. You need a crew, not one guy." "I don't want a crew. I want you." The way she said it made Daniel's stomach flip. "Why?" "Because I trust you. Because you see me. Because when you're around, I remember what it feels like to be human." That's a lot of pressure to put on an electrician. You're not just an electrician to me. What am I? She stepped closer. I don't know yet, but I want to find out. Daniel's phone rang. Lily's school. His blood went cold. Mr. Reese, Lily's fine, but she's in the nurse's office. She says her stomach hurts. Can you come get her? I'll be there in 20 minutes. He hung up. Alina was already grabbing her keys. I'll drive you. It's faster. You don't have to. I want to. They broke every speed limit. Daniel's mind raced through worst-case scenarios. Appendicitis, food poisoning? Something worse. Alina drove with focused precision, one hand on the wheel, the other briefly touching his arm. She's going to be fine. You don't know that. No, but panicking doesn't help her. At the school, Lily was curled up on a cot, pale but alert. When she saw Daniel, she started crying. Daddy, my tummy hurts. He scooped her up. The nurse was calm. No fever. She ate breakfast at 7, started complaining around 10. Might be anxiety. Anxiety, she's 6. Kids get anxious. Has anything changed at home? Daniel looked at Alina standing in the doorway. Everything had changed. No, he lied. Nothing. They took Lily home. Alina stayed while Daniel settled her on the couch with cartoons and crackers. He sat with her, one hand on her forehead, feeling helpless. I'm sorry, Daddy. For what? For being sick. Now you can't work. Hey. He tilted her chin up. You're more important than any job, always. But we need money. His heart broke. That's not your worry. That's mine. But I heard you talking on the phone. About bills. About how things are tight. Daniel closed his eyes. He'd thought she was asleep. Kids always heard more than you wanted them to. We're fine, baby. I promise. Alina appeared with ginger ale and a damp washcloth. This helped when I was little. Lily accepted both. You used to get tummy aches. All the time. Usually when I was worried about something. What were you worried about? That I wasn't good enough. That people wouldn't like me. That I'd disappoint everyone. Lily considered this. That's silly. You're really cool. Alina laughed, surprised and genuine. Thank you. So are you. Can you stay? Lily. Daniel started. Please, just until I feel better. Alina looked at Daniel. He should say no. This was already too tangled, too complicated. But Lily's eyes were pleading, and Alina looked like she wanted to stay more than anything. For a little while. Daniel agreed. They watched cartoons. Lily dozed between them, her head on Daniel's lap, her feet in Alina's. The moment felt simultaneously too intimate and perfectly natural. You're good with her, Daniel said quietly. I'm terrified I'll do something wrong. You won't. How do you know? Because you care. That's most of it. Lily stirred, mumbling in her sleep. Alina's hand moved instinctively to stroke her hair. The gesture was so tender, it made Daniel's throat tight. I wanted kids once, Alina whispered. My ex didn't. He said children would derail my career. I believed him. Do you regret it? Every single day. Her voice cracked. I built this empire, and now I'm alone in it. What's the point of success if there's no one to share it with? It's not too late. Yes, it is. For biological children anyway. And I'm too damaged for adoption, too selfish, too broken. You're not broken. Yes, I am. My marriage broke me. My ambition broke me. I broke myself trying to be what everyone expected. Daniel reached across Lily, his hand finding Alina's. Then stop being what they expect. Be what you are. I don't know what that is anymore. Then figure it out. But stop punishing yourself for past choices. Alina's fingers tightened around his. How did you get so wise? Single parenting. It forces perspective real fast. Lily woke up feeling better. Alina left after making Lily promise to rest. At the door, she turned to Daniel. Thank you for letting me stay. Thank you for being here. Daniel. Her voice dropped. This thing between us, I know. We should probably stop before it goes further. Probably. But I don't want to. Neither do I. They stood in his doorway, the afternoon light harsh and revealing. Alina looked younger without her armor, more uncertain, more real. What are we doing? She asked. I have no idea. That terrifies me. Me too. But neither of them walked away. Alina left with a promise to text later. Daniel closed the door and leaned against it, his heart pounding. That night, Lily asked the question he'd been dreading. Do you like Alina? She's nice. That's not what I asked. 6 years old and reading him like a book. Yeah, I like her. Like? It's complicated, baby. Because she's rich. Because I'm your dad first. Everything else comes second. Lily climbed into his lap. But you can still be happy. Teacher says parents deserve happiness too. Your teacher talks a lot about adult stuff. She's smart, like Alina. Lily looked up at him. I want you to be happy, Daddy. Daniel held her close. I am happy. I have you. But lonely happy, not real happy. When did you get so smart? I was born smart. You tell me that all the time. He laughed, despite everything. Yeah, I do. His phone buzzed after Lily was asleep. Alina. How is she? Daniel better. Watching movies and eating crackers. Alina. Good. I was worried. Daniel. You barely know her. Alina. I know enough. She's special, like her father. Daniel stared at that message for a long time. Like her father. When had anyone called him special? When had anyone seen him as more than a provider, a fixer, a person who showed up and did what needed doing? Daniel. I'm not special. I'm just surviving. Remember Alina? Maybe we're both wrong about ourselves. Daniel. Maybe. Alina. The building downtown. I still need you to finish it. Daniel. It'll take 2 weeks. Alina. I have 2 weeks. Daniel. Alina? Alina. Tell me you don't feel this too. Tell me I'm imagining it. He couldn't. Because he did feel it, this pull toward her that made no logical sense, but felt inevitable anyway. Daniel. I feel it. Alina. So what do we do? Daniel. I don't know. But I think we figure it out together. Alina. Okay. Daniel. Okay. He set down his phone. From Lily's room, he heard her talking in her sleep nonsense words and happy sounds. She was his anchor, his purpose, his reason for everything. But maybe, just maybe, he could be more than just her father. Maybe he could be Daniel too, the person he'd buried under years of responsibility and fear. His phone buzzed one more time. Alina, good night. Daniel. Daniel, good night. Alina. He lay in bed, staring at the ceiling, terrified and exhilarated, knowing that whatever happened next would change everything, and unable to stop it, even if he wanted to. Daniel started work on the downtown building the following Monday. Lily went to school. He dropped her off with a kiss and a promise to pick her up on time, and then he drove to meet Alina with his toolbox and a knot in his stomach that had nothing to do with electrical work. She was waiting inside, dressed in jeans and a loose sweater that made her look softer than the business clothes ever did. She had coffee again, 2 cups, and when she handed him one, their fingers touched longer than necessary. Sleep okay? She asked. No. Me neither. They stood there holding coffee cups in an empty building, the morning light coming through bare windows, and Daniel realized this was the first time they'd been truly alone since that conversation in the duplex. No Lily as a buffer, no emergency to distract them. Just 2 people who'd admitted something neither knew what to do with. We should talk about this, Alina said. Yeah. But I don't know what to say. Me neither. She laughed nervously. We're both terrible at this. At what? Whatever this is. Daniel set down his coffee. I haven't felt like this since before Lily was born. Since before my marriage fell apart. and it scares the hell out of me. Because of Lily. Because of everything. Because I'm 43 years old and I drive a truck that barely runs, and I live paycheck to paycheck. Because you're... He gestured at her. You're everything I'm not. Lonely, scared, pretending every single day that I have my life together when really I'm drowning. Successful, accomplished, someone who matters. I don't matter, Daniel. I run a company that could replace me tomorrow. I live in a house that feels like a tomb. The only time I've felt real in the last 5 years is when I'm with you. The words landed between them like a confession. Daniel's chest tightened. You don't know me well enough to feel that way. Don't I? I know you put your daughter before everything. I know you show up even when you're exhausted. I know you see people, really see them in a way most people don't. That's more than I know about people I've worked with for decades. That's not enough to build anything on. Then what is? Daniel didn't have an answer. He turned to the electrical panel, started mapping circuits, losing himself in the familiar rhythm of work. Alina watched him for a while, then picked up a broom and started sweeping debris from the floor. You don't have to do that, he said. I want to help. You hired me to help you. Maybe I hired you because I wanted a reason to not be alone. The admission hung in the air. Daniel stopped working. Alina. My therapist says I use work to avoid intimacy, that I built my company because it was safer than building relationships. She's probably right. You're in therapy. Twice a week, for 3 years. Hasn't fixed me yet. Maybe you're not broken. Then why do I feel like I am? Daniel crossed the space between them. Because you're human. Because you made choices that seemed right at the time, and now you're living with them. That doesn't make you broken. It makes you honest. Is that what you tell yourself? Every day. She smiled sadly. We're quite a pair, aren't we? Yeah, we are. His phone rang. Lily's school again. Daniel's heart dropped. Mr. Reese, it's the nurse. Lily's fine, but she's asking for you. She says she doesn't feel well again. I'll be right there. He hung up. Alina was already grabbing her keys. Let's go. You don't have to keep doing this. Yes, I do. At the school, Lily was sitting in the nurse's office, looking small and scared. When she saw Daniel and Alina together, her face brightened, despite the tears. You both came. Of course we did, Alina said, kneeling beside her. What's wrong, sweetheart? My tummy hurts again, and I miss my daddy. The nurse pulled Daniel aside. Mr. Reese, I think we need to talk about what's really going on here. What do you mean? Lily's been exhibiting signs of separation anxiety. Has there been any change in routine? Any new stress at home? Daniel looked at Alina, who was now sitting with Lily talking softly, making her laugh despite the tears. Yeah, there'd been changes. Nothing major, he lied. Well, kids are perceptive. They pick up on adult stress. Maybe consider talking to her about whatever's happening. Daniel took Lily home. Alina followed in her car. Once inside with Lily settled on the couch again, Alina made tea while Daniel sat with his daughter trying to figure out what to say. Lily, baby, talk to me. What's really going on? She picked at her rabbit's ear. Are you mad at me? What? No. Why would you think that? Because you're different. You smile more, but you're worried more. And you're on your phone a lot. And you keep leaving me with Mrs. Chen. Guilt crashed through him. I'm not mad at you. I could never be mad at you. Then why do you seem so far away? Daniel pulled her close. I'm sorry. I'm right here. I'm not going anywhere. Promise. I promise. Alina appeared with tea, setting it on the table. She looked at Daniel with understanding and regret. This was hurting Lily. They were hurting Lily. I should go, Alina said quietly. No, Lily said. Stay, please. Sweetheart, your dad and I need to talk. Adult stuff. About me. About us, Daniel admitted. About what's happening. Lily looked between them. Are you boyfriend and girlfriend? The question was so innocent and so complicated. Daniel opened his mouth closed. It had no idea how to answer. "We're friends," Alina said gently. "But friendship with grown-ups is complicated sometimes." "Why?" "Because grown-ups have responsibilities. Your dad has you. I have my work. We have to figure out how to balance everything. But you make him happy, I can tell." "He makes me happy too." "Then why is it complicated?" Out of the mouths of children. Daniel felt his throat tighten. "Because happiness isn't always simple, baby." "That's dumb." Despite everything, he laughed. "Yeah, it kind of is." Alina sat on the other side of Lily. "Can I tell you something?" Lily nodded. "When I was your age, my parents were never happy. They stayed together because they thought they had to, but they made each other miserable. I used to wish they'd just be honest about what they wanted. Do you know what I learned from that?" "What?" "That pretending doesn't protect anyone, especially kids. You know when something's wrong, even if we don't say it." Lily absorbed this. "So you're saying you and Daddy should be honest?" "Yeah, that's what I'm saying." "Okay." Lily looked at Daniel. "Are you in love with Alina?" The question knocked the air from his lungs. He looked at Alina, whose eyes had gone wide, and then back at his daughter, who was waiting for the truth. "I don't know," he said honestly, "but I care about her, a lot." "Is that okay with you?" Alina asked Lily. "Yeah, I like her. She's nice to us." Lily paused. "But Daddy, you have to still have time for me." "Always. You're my priority. Always." "Okay." She yawned. "Can we watch a movie now?" Just like that, the crisis passed. They watched Moana Lily singing along to every song while Daniel and Alina sat on opposite ends of the couch, hyper-aware of each other. Everything unsaid hanging between them. After Lily fell asleep, Daniel carried her to bed. When he came back, Alina was standing by the window, arms wrapped around herself. "I'm making everything harder for you," she said. "No, you're not." "Yes, I am." "Lily's anxious because she senses something's changing. That's my fault." "It's our fault, both of us." She turned. "Maybe we should stop, before anyone gets hurt." "Is that what you want?" "I don't know what I want, that's the problem. For the first time in 20 years I have no idea what comes next and it terrifies me." Daniel crossed to her. "You think I'm not terrified I'm about to lose my mind here? Because every rational part of me says this is a disaster. You're my client. You're way out of my league. You live in a different world. But then I see you, and none of that matters. It should matter. But it doesn't." They were inches apart. Alina's breathing was shallow, her eyes searching his face like she was trying to memorize it. "If we do this, if we try it, changes everything," she whispered. "I know. You could lose me as a client. I could lose my reputation if anyone finds out I'm involved with what, a contractor? Someone beneath you." "That's not what I meant." "Then what did you mean?" "I meant someone real. Someone who makes me feel things I've spent years avoiding. Someone who scares me because he sees past everything I've built." Daniel's hand came up to her face, his thumb tracing her cheekbone. "You scare me too." "Why?" "Because I want to be more than just Lily's dad when I'm with you. And that makes me feel guilty as hell." "You're allowed to be both, a father and a man." "I haven't been a man in years. Just a dad, just a person who provides." "Then maybe it's time to remember who you are." She leaned into his touch. Daniel felt the moment hanging between them, felt the inevitability of what came next, felt his heart pounding against his ribs. His phone buzzed. They both jumped apart. It was a text from Mrs. Chen. "Is everything okay with Lily?" She seemed upset at school. Reality crashed back. Daniel stepped back, running his hands through his hair. "I can't do this, not with Lily going through something." "I understand." "Do you?" "Because I don't. I don't understand any of this." "Daniel, I need you to leave. Please." Alina's face crumpled for just a second before she composed herself. Okay. I'm sorry. Don't be. You're being a good father. That's what matters. She left. Daniel stood in his living room, feeling like he'd made both the right decision and the worst mistake simultaneously. He checked on Lily still asleep, thumb in her mouth, like she did when she was stressed. He sat on the edge of her bed, watching her breathe, feeling torn in half. The next morning he dropped Lily at school and sat in the parking lot for 20 minutes, staring at his phone. Alina had sent a single text at 2 a.m. "I'm sorry for complicating your life." He didn't respond. He went to the downtown building and worked alone, running wires and mounting fixtures, and trying not to think about how empty the space felt without her there. She showed up at noon with lunch. "I know you said we should stop, but I'm not good at listening," she said, setting down sandwiches. "Alina, just eat with me, as friends. That's all I'm asking." They ate in silence for a while. Then Alina spoke. "I talked to my therapist this morning. Emergency session." "Yeah." "I told her about you, about us, about how I feel." "What did she say?" "That I'm self-sabotaging. That every time I get close to something real, I panic and push it away. That I'm doing it right now by coming here when you asked for space. Are you? Probably. But I needed you to know something." "What?" "I haven't felt this alive in years. And yes, it's terrifying. Yes, it's complicated. But I don't want to stop. I don't want to go back to being numb." Daniel set down his sandwich. "I talked to Lily's teacher this morning. She says Lily's been talking about you at school. About how nice you are. About how you make me smile." "Is that bad?" "I don't know. But it means you're not just in my life anymore. You're in hers. And that's huge. Too huge. Maybe. Or maybe it's exactly what we both need." Alina's eyes filled with tears. "I don't know how to do this. I don't know how to be in someone's life without destroying it." "You're not destroying anything." "How do you know?" "Because you're here. Because you care enough to show up even when it's hard. That's not destruction. That's courage." She wiped her eyes. "I want to meet Lily properly. Not just when she's sick or scared. I want to take her somewhere. Do something normal. Can we do that?" "You want to spend time with a 6-year-old. "I want to spend time with the 6-year-old who's important to you." "Yes." Daniel felt something shift in his chest. This wasn't just about attraction anymore. This was about building something real. "Okay, Saturday. We'll go to the zoo." "The zoo?" "Lily loves animals. Fair warning, she'll talk your ear off about endangered species." Alina smiled, a real smile that reached her eyes. "I can't wait." Saturday came with unseasonably warm weather. Daniel picked up Alina at her house, and Lily's eyes went wide when she saw it. "You live in a castle. Sometimes it feels like a prison," Alina said, climbing into the truck. "But yes, it's very big." "Can I see your room?" "Lily," Daniel warned. "It's okay. Maybe another time," Alina said. "Today is about the zoo." The zoo was crowded with families. Daniel felt self-conscious walking beside Alina, this woman in designer jeans who looked out of place among the strollers and screaming toddlers. But Lily grabbed Alina's hand immediately, dragging her toward the elephants, chattering about trunks and ivory and conservation efforts she'd learned about in school. Alina listened intently, asking questions, laughing at Lily's enthusiasm. Daniel followed behind, watching them together, feeling something warm and terrifying settle in his chest. At the penguin exhibit, Lily pressed her face against the glass, while Alina stood beside her, pointing out different species. "That one's a rockhopper," Alina said. "See the yellow feathers." "How do you know that?" "I wanted to be a marine biologist when I was your age." "Really? Really? But my parents said it wasn't practical, so I became a CEO instead." Lily looked up at her. "Are you sad you didn't become a biologist?" Alina's smile faltered. "Sometimes. But if I had, I wouldn't have met your dad." "Do you love my dad?" "Lily." Daniel interjected. But Alina crouched down to Lily's level. "I care about him very much. Is that okay with you?" "Yeah. He needs someone to care about him. He's always taking care of me, but nobody takes care of him. Then maybe we can take care of him together. Lily threw her arms around Alina's neck. I'd like that. Daniel watched them embrace his throat tight, his eyes burning. This was what he hadn't let himself want: someone who saw him, who saw Lily, who wanted to be part of their messy, complicated life. They got ice cream. Lily sat between them on a bench, chocolate dripping down her chin, completely content. Alina wiped her face with a napkin, the gesture so maternal it made Daniel's heart ache. This is nice, Lily said. Like a family. Daniel and Alina's eyes met over her head. The word hung between them. Family. Heavy and hopeful and impossible and perfect. Yeah, Alina said softly. It is nice. The drive home was quiet. Lily fell asleep in the back seat, exhausted and happy. Daniel pulled up to Alina's house, but didn't immediately let her out. Today was everything, Alina finished. Today was everything. Lily really likes you. I really like her. And you. This is moving fast. Too fast. Daniel looked back at his sleeping daughter, then at Alina. I don't know. But I don't want it to stop. Neither do I. So where does that leave us? Figuring it out, together. She leaned across the console, kissing him softly. It was brief and tender, and it made Daniel feel like his entire world had tilted on its axis. I'll see you Monday, she whispered. Monday. She got out, walking to her door, turning to wave before going inside. Daniel sat there for a moment, his lips still tingling, his heart racing. Lily stirred in the back seat. Daddy. Yeah, baby. I saw you kiss Alina. His heart stopped. You were supposed to be asleep. I was. Then I woke up. She yawned. It's okay. I like when you're happy. You sure? Yeah. Can we see her again soon? Yeah, we can. Good. She fell back asleep. Daniel drove home feeling like he was standing at the edge of something vast and unknowable. Everything was changing. His carefully maintained survival mode was crumbling, and for the first time in years, he wasn't sure if he was terrified or relieved. That night after Lily was in bed, Alina called instead of texting. Hi, she said. Hi. I can't stop thinking about today. Me neither. Daniel, I need to tell you something. His stomach dropped. What? I'm falling for you. Actually falling. And it scares me because I don't fall. I don't let people in. But you and Lily, you've gotten under my skin in a way I can't explain. Alina. I know it's fast, I know it's crazy, but I need you to know, because if we're doing this, I'm all in. I don't do halfway. Daniel sat on his porch looking up at stars he never usually noticed. I'm falling too. And yeah, it terrifies me. Because I have Lily to think about. Because I can't afford to make mistakes. Am I a mistake? No. God, no. You're the first thing that's felt right in years. But that doesn't make it less scary. So we're both terrified. Yeah. But we're doing this anyway. Yeah. We are. She exhaled audibly. Okay, we're doing this. We're doing this. They talked for 2 hours about everything and nothing. About Lily and work and childhood dreams and adult disappointments. About what they wanted and what they feared and what they hoped this could become. When they finally hung up, Daniel felt exhausted and exhilarated. He checked on Lily one more time, kissed her forehead, whispered a promise that he'd never let anything hurt her. Then he lay in bed staring at the ceiling, knowing that his life had just irrevocably changed, and choosing to embrace it instead of run from it. Whatever came next, they'd face it together. All three of them. Monday morning started with a phone call that changed everything. Daniel was making breakfast when his phone rang. Unknown number. He almost didn't answer, but something made him pick up. Is this Daniel Reese? Yeah. Who's this? Michael Torres, attorney at law. I represent the estate of Rebecca Reese. Daniel's hand froze on the spatula. Rebecca. Lily's mother. The woman who'd walked out 4 years ago and never looked back. What about her? I'm sorry to inform you that Ms. Reese passed away 3 weeks ago. Car accident. I've been trying to locate you regarding her will. The kitchen tilted. Daniel gripped the counter. Her will. She left everything to your daughter Lily. A life insurance policy worth $200,000. There are papers that need signing. Can you come to my office this week? Daniel's mind went blank. Rebecca was dead. The woman who'd destroyed him, who'd abandoned their daughter, who'd haunted his worst moments gone. Mr. Reese, are you there? Yeah, I'm here. I understand this is a shock. Take your time. Call me when you're ready to discuss the details. The lawyer hung up. Daniel stood in his kitchen with pancakes burning on the stove and his entire world rearranging itself. Lily appeared in the doorway. Daddy, something smells bad. He turned off the stove. Smoke filled the kitchen. He opened windows, threw out the ruined pancakes, and made toast instead, moving on autopilot while his brain tried to process the news. $200,000. That was everything. That was college for Lily. That was paying off his truck. That was not living paycheck to paycheck anymore. That was blood money from a woman who'd done nothing but cause pain. Daddy, you're crying. He touched his face. He was. Sorry, baby. What's wrong? He couldn't tell her, not yet. Not until he figured out what to say about the mother she barely remembered dying without ever trying to come back. Nothing. Just tired. She didn't believe him. He could see it in her eyes. But she was 6, so she let it go, eating her toast and chattering about show and tell, while Daniel's mind spiraled. He dropped her at school and drove to the downtown building in a daze. Alina was waiting, but when she saw his face, her smile disappeared. What happened? Lily's mother died. Oh my God. Daniel? 3 weeks ago. I just found out. She left Lily money. A lot of money. Alina pulled him inside, made him sit crouched in front of him with her hands on his knees. How do you feel? I don't know. Relieved. Guilty for feeling relieved. Angry that she gets to be dead and absolved while I'm still here dealing with everything she left behind. That's all valid. Is it because I feel like a monster? You're not a monster, you're human. Daniel's phone buzzed. Text from Mrs. Chen. Lily forgot her lunch. Can you drop it off? He stood. I have to go. I'll come with you. You don't have to. I'm coming. They went together. At the school they found Lily sitting outside the principal's office, tear-streaked and small. Daniel's heart stopped. What happened? The principal, Mrs. Davidson, stepped out. Mr. Reese, Lily got into an altercation with another student. Altercation, she's 6. She hit another child, drew blood. Daniel stared at his daughter. Lily. She wouldn't look at him. Her hands were clenched into fists, her whole body radiating fury he'd never seen before. Mrs. Davidson continued. The other child made a comment about Lily not having a mother. Lily responded physically. Something cracked in Daniel's chest. What did the kid say? Exactly? Mr. Reese, that's not... What did he say? Mrs. Davidson sighed. He said Lily's mother didn't love her enough to stay. That's when Lily hit him. Daniel knelt in front of his daughter. Lily, look at me. She did. Her eyes were blazing with hurt and rage and confusion. We're going home, he said. Mr. Reese, there are consequences. She just found out her mother is dead. She doesn't know it yet, but she feels it. Kids always know. So we're going home, and tomorrow we'll talk about consequences. He didn't wait for permission. He picked up Lily, carried her to the truck, buckled her in, while she cried silently. Alina followed, getting into the passenger seat without asking. They drove home in silence. Inside, Daniel set Lily on the couch and sat beside her. Tell me what happened. Tommy said my mom left because I'm bad. He said nobody stays with me. He said even you'll leave eventually. Daniel felt rage so pure it almost choked him. Tommy's wrong, about all of it. But Mom did leave. Yeah, she did. Why? Here it was. The question he'd been dreading for 4 years. Daniel looked at Alina, who nodded encouragingly, then back at his daughter. Because she was sad, baby. So sad she couldn't see how much we loved her. So sad she thought leaving was the only way to feel better. Did it work? I don't know, but I know this. It wasn't your fault. Nothing you did made her leave. She left because of things inside her that had nothing to do with you. Do you miss her? I miss who I thought she was. But the real her, no. Because the real her hurt us both. Lily was quiet for a long time. Then she said, "She's dead, isn't she?" Daniel's breath caught. How did you know? You've been sad all day. And you're telling me the truth about things. You only do that when something really bad happens. He pulled her close. Yeah, she died a few weeks ago. I just found out this morning. Am I supposed to be sad? You're supposed to feel however you feel. I don't feel sad. Is that bad? No, baby, that's honest. She cried then, not from grief, but from relief, the release of a fear she'd carried for years, that her mother would come back and disrupt their life. Daniel held her while she sobbed, and Alina sat beside them, her hand on his shoulder, tears streaming down her face. After Lily calmed down, she went to her room to rest. Daniel collapsed on the couch, exhausted. Alina sat beside him. You handled that perfectly. Did I? Because I feel like I just told my 6-year-old it's okay not to grieve her mother. You told her it's okay to feel what she feels. That's different. Is it? Yes. Alina took his hand. My mother died when I was 12. Everyone told me I had to be devastated, but I wasn't. She was cold and critical and made me feel worthless. When she died, I felt free. Then I felt guilty for feeling free. It took years of therapy to understand that grief isn't one size fits all. I don't want Lily to grow up with that guilt. She won't, because you're giving her permission to be honest. Daniel leaned back, closing his eyes. There's money. Life insurance. $200,000. Alina went still. That's substantial. Yeah. How do you feel about it? Like it's blood money. Like Rebecca's trying to buy redemption she doesn't deserve. It's not for Rebecca. It's for Lily. I know. But taking it feels like forgiving her. And I'm not ready to do that. Then don't. Take the money for Lily's future and let Rebecca stay in the past where she belongs. Daniel opened his eyes. When did you get so wise? Expensive therapy, remember? He almost smiled. Then his phone rang again. The lawyer. Mr. Reese, I apologize for calling back so soon, but there's another matter. Rebecca left a letter for Lily. Do you want me to mail it, or would you prefer to pick it up? Daniel's stomach turned. A letter. Written shortly before her death. She specified it should be given to Lily when you felt the time was right. What does it say? I haven't read it. It's sealed, addressed to your daughter. Daniel looked at Alina, panic rising. I don't know if I can give her that. You don't have to decide right now, Alina said. To the lawyer, mail it, to my address. He hung up. The thought of Rebecca reaching from beyond the grave to disrupt their lives made him furious and terrified in equal measure. What if the letter's awful? He asked Alina. What if she blames Lily? What if she says things that destroy her? Then you don't give it to her, or you wait until she's older, or you read it first and decide. That feels like a violation of privacy. It's protection. There's a difference. Daniel stood pacing. Everything was finally working. Lily's happy. I'm happy. You're in our lives and it's good, and now this ghost shows up and threatens all of it. She's only a ghost if you let her be. You get to decide how much power she has. Do I? Because right now it feels like she's controlling everything from the grave. Alina stood blocking his path. Daniel, look at me. He did. Rebecca is gone. She can't hurt you anymore. Not unless you let her. And if the letter says things Lily needs to hear, then you give it to her when she's ready. But you don't owe Rebecca anything. Not forgiveness, not understanding, nothing. Daniel pulled Alina close, burying his face in her hair. I don't know what I'd do without you right now. Lucky you don't have to find out. They stood there holding each other while Lily slept, and the afternoon light changed, and the weight of the day settled around them. That evening, Daniel made Lily's favorite dinner spaghetti with too much cheese. She ate quietly, pushing noodles around her plate. "Can I ask you something?" she said finally. "Always." "Are you going to marry Alina?" Daniel choked on his water. "What?" "Tommy said people who kiss get married. You kissed Alina. So are you." He looked at Alina, who'd gone very still. "Lily, that's not how it works." "Why not?" "Because marriage is complicated. It takes time. We've only known each other a few weeks." "But you love her, I can tell." "Lily, do you love my daddy?" Lily asked Alina directly. Alina set down her fork. "I care about him very much." "That's not what I asked." 6 years old and relentless. Daniel wanted to intervene, but found himself waiting for Alina's answer. "Yeah," Alina said quietly. "I do. I love him." The words hung in the air. Daniel's heart stopped. They hadn't said that yet. They'd danced around it, implied it, felt it, but never spoken it. "Good," Lily said, returning to her spaghetti. "Because he loves you too. He's just scared to say it." "Lily, it's true. You get that look when you talk about her. The same look you have when you look at me. Like she's important." Daniel couldn't breathe. "How did you get so perceptive?" "I pay attention. You taught me that." After dinner, after Lily went to bed, Daniel and Alina sat on the porch. The night was cool, stars visible despite the city lights. "I meant it," Alina said. "What I told Lily." "I know. Does that scare you?" "Terrifies me." But I feel it too. I love you. I don't know how it happened so fast, but I do." Alina turned to him, tears on her cheeks. "Say it again." "I love you." Again. "I love you, Alina Cross." She kissed him hard and desperate and real. When they pulled apart, both were crying. "What do we do now?" she asked. "I have no idea." "But we figure it out together." "Yeah, together." His phone buzzed. "Text from the lawyer, letter will arrive Wednesday. Also, there's a complication with the insurance payout. Can you call me tomorrow?" Daniel showed Alina the text. "What complication?" "I don't know, but we'll handle it." "Will we?" "Yes, because you're not alone anymore. You have me." Daniel pulled her close. For the first time since the phone call that morning, he felt like he could breathe. Wednesday came with rain and the letter. Daniel stared at the envelope addressed in Rebecca's handwriting, neat, controlled, so like her. He didn't open it. He put it in his toolbox, where Lily wouldn't find it, and went to meet the lawyer. Alina came with him. In the lawyer's office, surrounded by leather furniture and law degrees, they learned the complication. "Rebecca's parents are contesting the will," Torres explained. "They claim she wasn't of sound mind when she designated Lily as beneficiary." "On what grounds?" "Depression. History of mental health treatment. They're arguing she should have left the money to them for Lily's care with them as trustees." Daniel felt rage boil up. "They never met Lily. Rebecca made sure of that. They disowned her when she married me. I'm aware. But they're Lily's legal grandparents. They have standing to contest." "What does this mean?" "It means the payout is frozen until the court decides. Could take months, maybe longer." Daniel stood. "They don't give a damn about Lily. They want the money." "Probably. But proving that is difficult." "So what do I do?" "Get a lawyer, fight them, or settle out of court." "I don't have money for a lawyer." Torres hesitated. "I might be able to help. Pro bono. Rebecca was. She was troubled, but she wanted Lily to have this. I'd like to honor that." Daniel wanted to refuse out of pride. But this wasn't about him. This was about Lily. "Okay. Thank you." Outside in the rain, Alina grabbed his arm. "Those bastards, going after a child's inheritance." They're scared old people trying to control what they can. I almost feel sorry for them. Don't. They don't deserve your sympathy. Maybe not, but anger doesn't help either. They drove back to his house. Inside, Mrs. Chen was watching Lily, who ran to Daniel immediately. How was school? Okay, Tommy apologized. His mom made him. But I think he meant it. Good. Daddy, can we paint today? Alina taught me at the zoo and I want to try. Daniel looked at Alina, who nodded. I have supplies in my car. I always keep them for when I can't sleep. They set up in the kitchen with old newspapers covering the table. Alina showed Lily how to mix colors, how to use different brush strokes, how to express feelings through abstract shapes. What are you feeling right now? Alina asked. Mad, and sad, and confused. Show me what that looks like. Lily painted swirls of red and blue and black, her small hands surprisingly confident. When she finished, the canvas looked chaotic but beautiful. That's perfect, Alina said. Really, because it's honest. Art doesn't have to be pretty, it has to be true. Daniel watched them together and felt something settle in his chest. This was family, messy and complicated and imperfect and real. That night, after Lily was asleep, he and Alina sat in his kitchen drinking tea. I should read the letter, he said. Do you want me to read it first? Would you? If it helps. He retrieved it from his toolbox. Alina opened it carefully, reading silently. Her expression shifted: surprise, sadness, something he couldn't identify. What does it say? She handed it to him. Read it. The letter was short. Rebecca's handwriting wavered in places like she'd been crying while writing. Dear Lily, you won't remember me. Maybe that's for the best. I was a terrible mother. I know that. I knew it when I left, and I know it now. I want you to know it wasn't your fault. You were perfect. You are perfect. I was the broken one. I had darkness inside me that I couldn't escape, and I was terrified I'd pass it to you. Your father is a good man. The best man. He'll give you everything I couldn't: stability, love, presence. Trust him. Listen to him. Let him be enough. I'm leaving you money because it's the only thing I can give. I'm sorry it's not more. I'm sorry I'm not more. If you ever wonder if I loved you, the answer is yes. I loved you so much it broke me. But love wasn't enough to fix what was wrong inside me. Be happy, Lily. Be everything I couldn't be. Mom. Daniel read it twice. Then he set it down and cried for Rebecca, for Lily, for the waste of it all. Alina held him. She loved her, in her own broken way. Is that enough? I don't know, but it's something. Should I give this to Lily? Not yet. She's too young. But someday when she asks about her mother, this will help. Daniel folded the letter carefully. Thank you for reading it first. Always. Whatever you need. He looked at her, this woman who'd crashed into his life and changed everything. Move in with us. Alina froze. What? Move in. You're here most days anyway. Lily loves you. I love you. That house of yours is killing you, so move in. Daniel, that's huge. I know, but I'm tired of half measures. I'm tired of pretending this isn't what it is. You're part of our lives now. Make it official. I have a company, responsibilities. So keep them, but come home to us. Your house is barely big enough for you and Lily. So we'll figure it out. Get a bigger place. Use Rebecca's money to... He stopped. The insurance money. Rebecca's blood money. Using it to build a life with Alina felt like the ultimate irony. That's actually perfect, Alina said, reading his mind. Using money from someone who abandoned her family to build a new family, Rebecca would hate it, which makes it exactly right. Daniel laughed, despite everything. You're a little bit evil. I'm a CEO. It's a requirement. He pulled her close. So is that a yes? Let me think about it. How long? Give me 24 hours to panic appropriately. Fair, but she was smiling. And Daniel knew even before she said it that her answer would be yes. The next morning, Alina called him at 6 a.m. I'm saying yes. But we do this right. We tell Lily together. We make sure she's okay with it. And we get a place that's ours, all three of us. Not your house or mine. A new start. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Let's do this. I'm terrified. Me too. But we're doing it anyway. We're doing it anyway. They told Lily that evening over pizza. She listened carefully, then asked the question Daniel hadn't anticipated. Will you be my mom? Alina's eyes filled. Lily, I can't replace your mom. I don't want you to replace her. I want you to be different. My own Alina mom. Then yes, if that's what you want, if your dad's okay with it. Daniel could barely speak. I'm more than okay with it. Lily threw her arms around Alina. Can we paint together every day? Every single day. And can we get a dog? Let's start with the moving in part first. Lily laughed, pure and joyful. Daniel watched his daughter with the woman he loved and felt for the first time in years like everything might actually be okay. Not perfect, not easy, but okay. And sometimes okay was more than enough. The house hunting started the following weekend. Alina insisted on using her money for the down payment. Daniel insisted on contributing what he could, and they compromised by agreeing to argue about it later. Lily came with them to every showing, providing brutally honest commentary that made realtors uncomfortable and Daniel secretly proud. This one smells like old people, she announced in a split-level ranch. Lily, Daniel warned. But it does, like Mrs. Chen's house, but sadder. The realtor, a woman named Patricia, with shellacked hair and a forced smile, tried to redirect. The backyard is quite spacious. We need 3 bedrooms, Alina said. Good school district, space for a home office. And a yard for the dog we're getting, Lily added. We're not getting a dog, Daniel said. Alina said we'd talk about it. Talking about it doesn't mean yes. It doesn't mean no either. They looked at 12 houses over 2 weeks. Too small, too expensive, wrong neighborhood, weird smell. Each rejection felt like failure until Alina found a listing that made her stop scrolling. Look at this. It was a 3-bedroom Craftsman with a front porch, a fenced yard, and a basement that could be converted to a studio. The price was just at their limit. The location was perfect, halfway between Lily's school and Alina's office. It's probably terrible in person, Daniel said, or it's perfect and we're about to get lucky. They saw it on a Tuesday afternoon. Patricia met them with her fake smile and sales pitch already prepared, but she stopped talking the moment they walked in. The house had character hardwood floors that creaked in the right way, built-in bookshelves, a fireplace that hadn't been used in years but could be. Lily ran upstairs. This room is mine. It has a window seat. Daniel looked at Alina. What do you think? I think I can see us here, all 3 of us. It needs work, new wiring in the kitchen, probably plumbing issues. You're an electrician. You can fix it. That's not the point. Then what is? He didn't have an answer. Because the truth was, he could see them here too. Lily doing homework at that kitchen table. Alina painting in the basement. Him fixing things that broke because that's what he did. He fixed things. We'll take it, Alina told Patricia. Don't you want to think about it? No. We'll take it. Patricia scrambled to pull out paperwork. Daniel pulled Alina aside. You can't just decide like that. Why not? Because it's a huge decision. Because we should look at more options. Because you're scared. Of course I'm scared. I've lived in the same place for 8 years. This is real. I thought we were doing real. We are. But real is terrifying. Alina took his hands. I know. But if we wait until we're not scared, we'll wait forever. Lily thundered down the stairs. Are we taking it? Yes, Alina said. No, Daniel said simultaneously. They looked at each other. Lily looked between them. You have to decide together, she said matter-of-factly. That's what families do. Families. The word hit Daniel in the chest. This wasn't just him anymore. This wasn't even just him and Lily. This was three people trying to build something together. "Okay," he said. "We'll take it." Lily cheered. Alina kissed him. Patricia started making calls, and Daniel stood in the empty living room of a house they couldn't quite afford, feeling like he'd just jumped off a cliff and didn't know if there was ground below. The mortgage process was a nightmare. Banks wanted documentation. Daniel didn't have credit scores that barely qualified proof of income that fluctuated month to month. Alina tried to buy it outright, but Daniel refused. "I need to contribute. I need this to be ours, not yours." "It is ours." "Then let me be part of it, please." They fought about money more than anything else, not angry fights, frustrated ones. Daniel felt inadequate every time Alina casually mentioned amounts that exceeded his yearly income. She felt guilty for having more than he did. Neither knew how to bridge the gap without hurting the other. Torres called with an update on the insurance case. "Rebecca's parents are pushing hard. They've hired an expensive firm. This could get ugly." "How ugly?" "They're threatening to sue for custody." Daniel's blood went cold. "They can't do that." "They can try. Claim you're an unfit parent, that Lily needs stability you can't provide." "That's insane. They've never even met her." "Doesn't matter. They're her legal grandparents. They have standing." "What do I do?" "Show them you are stable. Show the court Lily's thriving, and pray they're bluffing." Daniel told Alina that night after Lily was asleep. She went pale. "They're using the house, aren't they? Saying you can't afford stability." "Probably." "Then we accelerate. We close on the house now. We show them you have a stable home, a partner, a future." That feels like playing their game. It is their game, but we're going to win it. She made calls, pulled strings, used connections Daniel didn't know she had. Within a week, they had mortgage approval and a closing date. Within 2 weeks, they had keys. Moving day was chaos. Daniel's belongings fit in his truck. Alina's required professional movers and 3 trips. Lily supervised everything, directing boxes to wrong rooms and getting underfoot while offering completely unhelpful suggestions. "That couch should go there." "It doesn't fit there, baby." "But it looks better." "Looking better doesn't make it fit." "Why not?" Daniel looked at Alina for help. She was laughing, phone in one hand, paint samples in the other, completely in her element despite the chaos. "She's right," Alina said. "It does look better there. You're both ganging up on me." "Get used to it," Lily said. "We're the girls. You're outnumbered." By evening, the house looked half lived in and half disaster. They ordered pizza, ate on the floor, and Lily fell asleep between them before 8. "She's happy," Alina whispered. "Yeah, she is." "Are you—" Daniel looked around at the boxes and chaos and the life they were building. "Yeah, terrified but happy." "Good, because there's something I need to tell you." His stomach dropped. "What?" "I'm stepping down as CEO." Daniel sat up. "What?" "I gave notice last week. I'm done. I've spent 20 years building something I don't believe in anymore. I want to paint. I want to be here with you and Lily. I want a life that's actually mine." "Alina, that's your whole identity." "No, it was my cage. I'm done being caged." "But the money?" "I have enough. We have enough. I'll do consulting. Sell some paintings maybe. Figure it out as I go." "You're insane." "Probably. But I'm also free." Daniel didn't know whether to be proud or terrified. "When?" 2 months. Time to transition. Time to make sure everything's stable." "And then what?" "Then I'm just Alina. Not CEO Alina. Not successful Alina. Just me." "Who's just you?" "I don't know yet, but I'm excited to find out." She kissed him, and Daniel tasted freedom and fear, and something that felt like hope. The custody threat materialized a week later. Papers served while Daniel was at work, claiming he was financially unstable, emotionally unavailable, and cohabitating with a woman he barely knew. The language was clinical and brutal, painting him as neglectful and Alina as predatory. "They're saying I'm using you for money," Alina said, reading the documents. "That I'm manipulating you to gain access to Lily's inheritance. That's garbage. But it's in writing, in legal documents. They're making us sound like criminals." Torres reviewed everything. "It's weak, but they have money and time. They'll drag this out, make it expensive, hope you'll settle." "I won't settle." "Then prepare for war. Character witnesses, financial records, proof that Lily's stable and thriving. Everything." They built their case like a fortress. Teachers testified that Lily was well-adjusted. Mrs. Chen provided statements about Daniel's parenting. Alina's therapist wrote a letter about her mental stability and positive influence. Even Patricia the realtor contributed documentation about the house purchase. But Rebecca's parents weren't backing down. They sent investigators to the school, to the neighborhood digging for dirt. They found Daniel's past, the struggles after Rebecca left, the missed payments, the times he'd had to choose between electricity and groceries. "They're painting you as barely functional," Torres warned, saying Lily deserves better. "I gave her everything." "I know. But they're twisting it, making sacrifice look like failure." The preliminary hearing was scheduled for a Friday. Daniel wore a suit Alina bought him, feeling like a fraud in clothes that cost more than his monthly rent used to. Lily stayed with Mrs. Chen, blissfully unaware that her grandparents were trying to take her away. Rebecca's parents, Harold and Margaret, looked exactly like Daniel imagined. Expensive suits, cold eyes, the kind of people who believed money solved everything. Margaret wouldn't look at him. Harold stared with undisguised contempt. Their lawyer, a shark in a designer suit, presented their case with surgical precision. Painted Daniel as a struggling single father who'd latched onto a wealthy woman out of desperation. Claimed Alina was unstable, impulsive, using Lily to fill a void left by her inability to have children. Suggested the whole relationship was a delusion that would collapse, leaving Lily traumatized. Torres countered with evidence of stability, the house, the school records, testimonies from people who knew them. But Daniel could see the judge's skepticism. This was a man who believed in traditional families, traditional roles. A single dad and a CEO playing house didn't fit his worldview. During the lunch recess, Daniel found Harold in the hallway. "You never wanted to know her," Daniel said. 4 years. You could have called, visited, sent a card. You didn't." Harold's face remained impassive. "Rebecca made her choices. We respected them. You disowned her. You made her feel worthless. That's why she left. She left because she was weak. Like you. I'm fighting for my daughter. What are you fighting for?" "Justice. Rebecca's money belongs with family. Lily is family. Lily is a child being raised by a man who can barely keep the lights on and a woman having a midlife crisis. That's not family. That's chaos." Daniel's fist clenched. Alina appeared beside him, her hand on his arm. "Walk away," she said quietly. "He just called us chaos." "He's not worth it." Harold smirked. "Listen to your girlfriend. She's the smart one. Though not smart enough to avoid this mess." Alina's jaw tightened. "Mr. Crawford, I've dealt with men like you my entire career. Men who think money equals worth. You don't care about Lily. You care about control, about winning, but you won't, because we actually love her. And love beats money every single time. We'll see what the judge thinks." They returned to the courtroom. The afternoon testimony was brutal. Harold and Margaret's lawyers brought up every mistake Daniel had ever made. The time Lily had lice and he didn't catch it for a week. The parent-teacher conference he missed because of work. The birthday party invitation that got lost in his truck. Small things, normal things, but weaponized to make him look incompetent. Then they went after Alina. Questioned her quick relationship with Daniel. Implied she was unhinged for walking away from her career. Suggested she had ulterior motives, access to the insurance money, a ready-made family, to compensate for her own inadequacies. "Is it true you're quitting your position as CEO?" their lawyer asked. "Yes." "Why?" "Because I want a life outside of work." "Isn't it true you're having a breakdown, that you're making impulsive decisions based on a relationship that's barely 2 months old?" "No, I'm making thoughtful decisions based on what I want my life to look like. And what do you want it to look like? Happy, real, full of people I love. You love Mr. Reese? Yes? And his daughter? Yes. Convenient timing, don't you think? Right when the child comes into a substantial inheritance. Alina's eyes flashed. I have more money than I could spend in 3 lifetimes. I don't need Lily's inheritance. I need Lily and Daniel, because for the first time in my adult life, I'm not alone. Her voice cracked on the last word. The courtroom went silent. Even the judge looked moved. Torres called Lily's teacher, who testified that Lily had bloomed in recent months, that she talked constantly about her dad and Alina, that she seemed happier, more secure, more confident. Has she mentioned her grandparents? Torres asked. Never. She's mentioned wanting a dog, but never grandparents. The judge adjourned without a ruling. Torres said it could go either way. Daniel went home feeling defeated and exhausted. Lily was still awake when they got back. How was court? Boring grown-up stuff, Daniel said. Are those people trying to take me away? His heart stopped. How did you know about that? I heard Mrs. Chen talking on the phone. She said my grandparents want me to live with them. Daniel knelt in front of her. They're not going to take you. I promise. But what if they do? They won't. Because you're mine, and I'm never letting you go. What if the judge makes you? Then we'll fight, and keep fighting, until everyone understands you belong here. Lily threw her arms around his neck. I don't want to live with them. I don't even know them. I know, baby. I want to stay with you and Alina. And you will, I promise. But as he held his daughter, Daniel wasn't sure he could keep that promise. The law didn't always side with love. Sometimes it sided with money and appearances and traditional values that didn't account for the messy reality of real families. The ruling came 3 days later. Torres called at 9 a.m. The judge ruled in your favor. Daniel's legs gave out. He sat hard on the kitchen floor. What? He said the grandparents showed no prior relationship with the child, that their interest appeared financially motivated, that Lily is clearly thriving in your care. He dismissed their petition. They can't appeal? They can try, but it's unlikely to succeed. You won, Daniel. He hung up and cried. Alina found him on the floor, pulled him close, and they cried together, relief and joy, and the release of fear they'd been carrying for weeks. Lily came downstairs. Why are you crying? Because we won, Daniel said. You're staying with us. I know. I was always staying with you. Her certainty shattered him. She'd never doubted, never feared. She'd trusted him completely while he'd been terrified of failing her. Yeah, he said. You were always staying with me. The insurance money came through a week later. $200,000 minus legal fees. Daniel stared at the bank statement, trying to comprehend the number. What do we do with it? He asked Alina. Whatever Lily needs. College fund, emergency savings, maybe a dog. We're not getting a dog. We're definitely getting a dog. They opened a trust fund for Lily's education, put aside emergency savings, used some to renovate the house, updating the kitchen, converting the basement into Alina's studio. The rest stayed untouched, a safety net against future disasters. Harold and Margaret sent one final letter through their lawyers. It was brief. This isn't over. Daniel threw it away. It was over. They'd lost. Lily was his. Their threats were empty now. Alina's last day as CEO was in November. She came home at 3 p.m., the earliest she'd been home in 20 years, and found Daniel installing new light fixtures while Lily did homework at the kitchen table. I'm unemployed, Alina announced. How does it feel? Daniel asked. Terrifying and perfect. She joined him on the ladder, helping hold the fixture while he connected wires. Lily watched them work together, content and secure. Can we get the dog now? She asked. No, Daniel said. Yes, Alina said. You're both impossible. But you love us, Lily said. He looked at his daughter and the woman he'd fallen for, and the life they'd built from broken pieces and impossible circumstances. Yeah, I really do. They got the dog the following weekend. A rescue mutt named Bailey who chewed everything and loved unconditionally. Lily was ecstatic. Daniel pretended to be annoyed. Alina painted them all four of them in abstract colors that somehow captured their chaotic, perfect reality. 3 months after moving in on a random Tuesday, Daniel asked Alina to marry him. No ring, no plan. Just the two of them in the kitchen after Lily went to bed, and the question falling out before he could overthink it. Marry me. Alina dropped the dish she was washing. What? Marry me. Not because we have to. Not because it makes sense. But because I want to wake up next to you for the rest of my life. Daniel, I know it's fast. I know we're still figuring things out. But I'm sure about this. About you. About us. She stood there with soap on her hands and tears in her eyes. Yes. 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 Absolutely yes. They got married at City Hall with Lily as their witness and Torres as their photographer. Alina wore jeans and a white blouse. Daniel wore the suit from court. Lily wore her favorite dress and carried a bouquet she'd picked from the backyard. It was simple and perfect and everything they needed. That night after the excitement faded, and Lily was asleep, Daniel and Alina sat on their porch, the one with the swing he'd finally gotten around to installing. We did it, Alina said. Did what? Built a life, a real one. It's messy. All real things are. My truck still barely runs. Your former colleagues probably think you're crazy. We're one emergency away from financial panic. But we're happy. Daniel looked at his wife, and at the house they'd made into a home, and at the life they'd built from survival mode and loneliness and a broken chandelier in an empty mansion. Yeah, we are. Lily appeared in the doorway, Bailey at her heels. I can't sleep. Come here, baby. She wedged between them on the swing. Bailey collapsed at their feet. They sat there, this strange, beautiful family that shouldn't have worked but somehow did, and watched the stars come out. Daddy, Lily said sleepily. Yeah. Are you happy now? Like real happy? Daniel looked at Alina, who was smiling despite her exhaustion. He looked at his daughter, safe and loved and certain of her place in the world. He looked at the house that was theirs and the life they'd fought for and won. Yeah, baby. I'm real happy. Good. You deserve it. She fell asleep right there on the swing. Daniel carried her inside, tucked her in, whispered that he loved her. When he came back, Alina was still on the swing, Bailey's head in her lap. She's right, you know, Alina said. You deserve this. So do you. We both spent too long surviving. I'm glad we're finally living. Daniel sat beside her. They swung gently, the night cool and quiet around them. Inside, their daughter slept. Their dog snored. Their life, messy and imperfect and absolutely real, continued without them having to force it or fix it or fear it. For the first time in longer than he could remember, Daniel felt complete. Not because everything was perfect, but because it was enough, more than enough. He had love and family and a future that felt open instead of suffocating. He'd come to fix a light. He'd found everything he didn't know he needed, and that was more than he'd ever dared to hope for.